your own home feels great. You have different rooms to explore, walls to paint, space to fill with cool things. But what if something goes wrong? Hello?
In this video, we'll cover home repair and maintenance, home energy savings, home safety, and information on hiring a contractor.
And the first step is to fix this lock. Oh, sure, now works. Always been. When you buy a home, you want to make sure everything is safe and meets your security standards. You may want to consider changing all of your home's entrance locks. It's an inexpensive and easy way to feel secure in your new home. We're here at Orleans Technical Institute with Bob Watts. We'll be installing a new handset on an interior door, but the procedure's the same for an exterior door, right, Bob?
Right.
Start by removing your old lock. Identify what type of lock it is, a key and knob, deadbolt, or rim cylinder. It's not a bad idea to take it to the store with you when you're buying the replacement lock. Today we're replacing a key and knob or deadbolt type, so there will be a 2 1/8 hole on the door and a 1-inch hole on the door rail. Measuring for the back side of the lock will be either 2 3/8 or 2 3/4. Make sure you measure from the edge of the door to the center of the hole when measuring for the back side. Install the latch first. Then install the lock body into the latch or bolt. Use the screws provided to hold the lock in place.
Works great, and it's reassuring to know that I'm the only one with a key. Although it really helps to actually have the key.
Mark the door. Drill holes. Mortise the latch. Screw in the lock.
Wow, that's a big hole. Now, I'm not going to ask how that happened, but it happens. Now, I'm here with Yvette Lopez de Victoria. Hi, Yvette.
Hi, how you doing?
And we're about to show you that fixing a big hole doesn't always have to be a big project. Right, Yvette?
That's correct.
Start by squaring up the hole you need to patch. Not too big, but big enough to get wood blocks behind the wall. Cut 2 blocks 2 inches longer than your cutout and 3 inches wider. Slip the blocks in behind the wall, leaving half the block exposed and half the block behind the wall. Cut a piece of sheetrock to cover the hole and screw that to your blocks. Next, apply compound followed by paper or mesh tape. Let this dry before sanding down until smooth and level with the rest of the wall. Do this 3 more times to form a strong protective layer.
Square up the hole. Cut the blocks. Slip the blocks in. Screw them to the wall. Cut the drywall. Apply compound paper or mesh tape. Let dry. Sand and repeat 3 times.
Painting a room is a pretty big job, and it involves lots of prep work. Plus, there's a difference between oil-based and water-based paint. Not to mention, there's varnish, enamel, lacquer, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, when choosing the paint, you want to ask the store clerk which type of paint meets your needs. Also, ask about ways to clean up that type of spilled paint, because you're going to make a mess. So we're going to bring back Yvette. Come on, Yvette. Hello, Yvette.
Hi, I'm back.
Yvette and I are going to show you some tricks to help you create a work of art. Start by caulking around windows and doors. This will seal out moisture and any unwanted air leaks. A good tip for caulking is to use masking tape to tape off the areas around the seam you are caulking, keeping the two pieces of tape at a distance the size of the desired bead. Now, lay down your bead of caulk. Use your finger to tool the caulk by pushing the excess onto the tape. After tooling, you can remove the masking tape and you'll find a very nice, straight, clean, smooth bead of tooled caulk. Make sure you let the caulk dry before taping or applying paint. To prepare to paint, tape around doors and windows, and if you're inside, receptacle boxes, switch boxes, and light fixtures to prevent painting over. To avoid dripping paint on the floor, lay down drop cloths or newspapers. Then pour the paint into your paint pan. Paint around the taped areas. If you're inside, you'll need a 3-inch brush and cut in where the ceiling and walls meet. Roll the ceilings first and then the walls. When rolling paint onto walls, paint in a W motion to help coat the walls evenly. Let paint dry before applying additional coats.
Caulk around windows and doors. Tape around trim. Cut in around ceiling. Roll paint onto the walls.
What's that noise? Okay, so it may not be the scariest thing to see, but it's sure annoying to hear. Open the tank and flush the toilet. This will allow you to see what's causing the toilet to continue running. Ensure that the chain connecting the handle to the flapper is entangled or trapped under the flapper. The chain can become caught under the flap when it closes, causing it not to close completely. Check to make sure that the flapper closes automatically after the tank drains. Replace the flapper if it's old or worn. An old flapper can become stiff, making it impossible to close automatically. Watch to make sure that the floater is able to float above the water when the tank refills. A floater that sits too low can cause the toilet to keep running. First, turn off your water supply by turning the knob at the base of your toilet counterclockwise. Remove your toilet lid and flush the toilet. You'll know that the water is shut off if the tank doesn't refill. Remove any remaining water with a towel or a sponge. Disconnect the supply tube by using a wrench, then remove the wing nut. Clean the gasket and washer. This may be what's causing the leak. If they are damaged or dried out, replace them. Examine the toilet for other worn-out gaskets or cracks. Next, replace all the parts, exactly what you just did, but in reverse. Don't overdo it with tightening parts. Pieces are sometimes made of plastic and can break easily. Finally, turn the water supply back on slowly. If you turn it on too fast, you'll end up spraying yourself with water. As you're doing this, check for leaks, and if everything works, replace the lid and you're all set. Think about the tiny little particles of dust, pollen, pet dander, and even dirt floating around in the air. Air filters help to remove contaminants of pollen and dust from the air that can lead to allergies. Check with your system's manufacturer for how often the filter should be changed. That stuff builds up in your furnace and spreads all over your home. It also clogs up over time and forces your furnace to work harder, using more energy.
There are two types of air filters, a disposable fiberglass filter and a reusable dry foam filter. Check for the correct one before making a purchase. Replacing your furnace's air filter maximizes your furnace's efficiency and longevity and minimizes your energy bills. Inspect your furnace at least once a year to ensure that it's running properly.
It's a good idea to locate the shutoff valve in case you need to shut off your water supply in an emergency. Now, for instance, if there's a leak or break in your water system. For most homes, this valve is often situated on the same side of the house as the water meter, but may also be found in places like under the kitchen sink or stairs or in the basement.
Once you find your valve, mark it with a tag, a bright ribbon or colorful paint so you can find it quickly. Turn the knob to the right to shut off the main water supply for your home's whole plumbing system. That's a big responsibility for such a small knob.
And to avoid squeaky, rusty knobs, keep the joint lubricated with a household lubricating oil.
Wear rubber-soled shoes. Use leather gloves. Get professional help.
In a newer home, you might see one of these. And if the power goes out, all you have to do is simply flip the switch. But in older homes, you might be looking at one of these. Problem is, it's not as easy. You'll have to actually replace the blown fuse.
Electricity flows to both the breaker and the fuse box the same way. The difference is the way they handle the overload of power.
Right now, we're going to replace a bad fuse. Now, all you need for this is a replacement fuse, but know that there are two types. There's the Edison-based screw-in fuses and cartridge fuses.
Screw-in fuses are removed by turning counterclockwise.
Now, make sure that the new fuse has the same amperage rating as the old fuse.
Cartridge fuses are usually rated for a higher ampacity and mostly control the main appliances. These fuses simply pull out. They can be removed by hand or with a pair of insulated pliers.
Now that you know the difference, make sure you're prepared with the right type of fuse. You'll never know when you need one. Like right now. How often do you need to read one of these? And can you even understand it? Sometimes I think it's written in a different language. Right now, we're going to work with certified electrician Jim Wilson to safely exchange a 2-prong electrical outlet for a 3-prong. Now, the only way you can continue with this project is if you have the proper wiring. That's a live wire, good, a neutral wire, and a ground wire. It's important to have all 3 wires present in order to move forward, right? Correct. Thanks, Jim. In older homes, you'll commonly see tube and knob wiring where there isn't a ground wire, just the hot and neutral lines. The neutral wire acts as the ground wire by carrying electrical current away from the outlet.
If your home meets the qualifications, the first step is to turn off the power to the outlet. Do this by finding your circuit breaker or fuse box and flipping the switch that controls the outlet. If you're unsure which fuse or breaker is controlling the outlet, main electricity can be shut off to the entire house. It's a good idea to have all the breakers or fuses labeled. In the meantime, find a system that works for you to test each room or outlet. After shutting off the power to the outlet, use the circuit tester to make sure there's not any electricity running through it. Always use a circuit tester to ensure the power is off. Next, remove the cover plate. Then remove the old outlet and pull it out just a few inches. There are 3 different wires to become familiar with: live wire, neutral wire, and ground wire. Live wire supplies electrical current in a circuit to a device. A neutral wire carries electrical current in a circuit away from a device. And ground wire is intentionally grounded wire that completes a circuit should a neutral wire fail. Unscrew the old outlet and replace it with a new one, using the labeled wires as guidelines. The wire should wrap around the screw the same direction as the screw does, clockwise. Live wires are usually affixed to the outlet.